Welcome to Borderline Furniture. I'm Mara, and this is project number 49. This is the Clueless Challenge hosted by Krystal the Crafty Creech, and I'm co-hosting. In this challenge, participants will take tragically unfabulous furniture pieces and attempt daring transformations while hitting a clueless snag that they can't quite resolve. This is totally me with this incredible deal that I just landed, a table and 7 chairs at half price. Just $125. As soon as I brought the set home, the idea started flowing. My plan? Strip it down with my favorite eco stripper, Strip It. When applying stripper, it's crucial to apply a thick, even layer and prevent drying. I'm covering the table with a plastic painter's tarp, which is a budget-friendly way to keep the stripper from drying out prematurely. This ensures that it stays active long enough to do its job. I'll be using my brand new disc sander and Hercules dust extractor to resurface the tabletop. And that's where the clueless part kicks in. So I was aiming for a subtle weathered finish, but once I stripped off the old top coat, I discovered that the inlay wasn't a printed design like I thought. It was a real inlay, so no glossed on image there. So next I reached for the barkeeper's friend to remove the water stains. The oxalic acid in barkeeper's friend lifts and lightens watermarks, but this time it did nothing. So here's the twist. This inlay gives the table a regal, refined vibe, but the stains just won't stamp out, which means that I have to conceal them with a darker stain. And that throws my entire coastal-inspired plan out the window. So I'm left with a total design dilemma. Oil inlay versus light coastal style. Which way should I go? A dark gel stain finish seemed like the obvious solution. But then I hesitated. What about the inlay? Had I just stained the contrasting details? Was it ruined? Could it even be saved? Thankfully, I had my secret weapons, lots and lots of Q-tips, mineral spirits, and a ton of patience. With clean and wipe cycles, I managed to salvage the entire inlay and restore its detail to the tabletop. With the inlay saved, the next logical step was sealing, and I chose Dixie Belle Gator Hide. I reviewed the how-to videos, got advice from a flipping friend, and followed the company instructions. I applied the product sparingly, using minimal strokes, but the applicator didn't deliver the smooth finish I wanted. It left visible streaks and marks. So I switched tactics and hand sanded the tabletop, and then I applied 3 coats of gator hide using my paint sprayer, which gave me an even application with 0 brush lines. It's time to prep the chairs for painting. I always emphasize cleaning and scuff sanding for proper paint adhesion, so here's a fun little montage to get us all through the sequence. My original plan was a coastal vibe, hence the green chairs, but against the newly dark tabletop, they just didn't work. At least I only painted 2 chairs, so it's not too late to change course. This color had to come off. So here's the new plan. Distress the chair and the table legs so that the darker base will show through and accentuate the details. I used bare chalk paint in dark truffle for the undercoat to visually tie into the tabletop. I experimented with several distressing techniques on a test board. Using Dixie Belle crackle effects, I applied a thick crackle coating to test the wide cracks, a thin crackle, which gave me even wider cracks than advertised, a crosshatch crackle coat, providing some nice variations, and the best results came from the simple candle wax resist method. by rubbing a plain dollar store candle over the areas I wanted paint to wear, then brushing on a top coat, let me chip back the paint minimally and get the kind of worn detail that I'd hoped for. Candle wax distressing delivered the most controlled, vintage-looking finish. That section went pretty fast, so let me recap the steps as they occurred. First, I painted the base coat using bare, dark truffle and applied candle wax at the distress points. I used Magnolia chalk paint purchased from the $5 bin at my local Habitat for Humanity. I chose a light, contrasting color and used my Wagner sprayer to apply the paint. It's much faster than using a brush, for sure. I used green abrasive scrubbing pads and sandpaper to remove the paint over the wax. The last step was to apply a top coat. I used bare polyacrylic in matte. The table legs were distressed using the same technique as the chairs. Down to the final stretch. I found the perfect upholstery fabric at Hobby Lobby and suddenly everything clicked. I'd been totally clueless about the color choices until the last minute, but the talented ladies of the Flippin' Bunch gave me the green light and I was off to the finish line. For additional inspiration, I rewatched an episode of Facelift Interiors on YouTube. Just what I needed to tackle the rest of the upholstery. The corner tucks were definitely the trickiest part, but after a few seats, I fell into my groove. And now here I am, down to the last step, installing the seat screws. That part always feels like a reward because guess what? It means that the final reveal is just around the corner. Just a reminder, this is the table where we started, and here is the final reveal. Thanks to Krystal at the Crafty Creech for allowing me to co-host this challenge. For more Clueless videos, please check out the playlist, and as always, thanks for watching.